And I keep hearing that, it's getting better and it's going to take the place of screen printing, and that, the quality and the customer service and the maintenance is going to get easier. And it's just, why? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Squeegee Ink Podcast Season 2. This podcast is sponsored by Blind Maggot, Magna Colours, Screen Print World, Target Transfers, and Adobe Creative Suite.
Well, yeah, my name is Gustavo Gonzalez. Everybody calls me Goose. I am the owner of GooseWorks Screen Printing Studio here in Houston, Texas. We've been here for 4.5 years. I personally have about 10 years of screen printing experience, and just happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite, reaching out.
No problem. Yeah, I just really liked your social media, and I like your approach. It's very natural, and you kind of bring people in and make them feel comfortable in your videos really quickly. That's why I really wanted to get you on and talk about that type of stuff. So what was your first experience in screen printing? When did you ever pick up a squeegee, or did you work for someone else originally, or how did you get into it?
Basically, I just had an idea for a t-shirt one day, and I've always been into all sorts of different media and arts, just painting, drawing, sculpting since I was a little kid. And then when I had that t-shirt idea, I thought, how hard can it be to screen print? So I just went, did some research, watched a few tutorials, and went to my local art supply store and bought that overpriced little speedball contraption that, I had set up on my ironing board in my apartment at the time. And I figured out how to do it. And that was kind of the beginning of screen printing for me, because I loved it so much, because it was a great combination of digital art and just hands-on approach. And but I don't think I really expected it to get to this level. So it amazes me how I've gotten away with it.
Yeah. This might be a complete reach, but when I was watching your videos, I've noticed that you're using quite a lot of the same music things. So you might be inspired by the 80s and 90s, Mario Kart and that video games and that type of thing. Is that just coincidence, or are they creative inspirations for you? Or that might just be a complete reach.
The music?
Yeah, the music and nostalgia, and maybe that kind of aesthetic seems to be running through your stuff, but it might just be coincidence.
No, I mean, I guess in a sense, it's all a bit of a reflection of who I am, right? So if you see classic rock music, it's because I love it. If you hear Kasabian in it, it's because I love it. And it also kind of just to tie it into what the video is. For instance, we printed for a brewery a few hours from here, close to Austin, and they're called Cassette Brewing Company, and their whole vibe is just 90s memorabilia and stuff. So we added Hanson Bop song to that, just kind of make it all just complement itself. I don't there's some songs that I don't really listen to. It works for the video.
Yeah. I really like this tactic that you've got, and it might just be a recent thing, even in the last few days and stuff, where you're actively interviewing your customers and getting them to speak about their experience with you. But it's also cross promotion, isn't it? How have you started doing that, and how comfortable are they on the camera working with you like that?
They're pretty comfortable. I don't know if you knew this, but they're all just one take. And it's just unscripted, and we just go with it. And then sometimes right when I'm about to start, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? But I just start going with it. And then, through the magic of some minor editing, we make it look a lot better than it actually was. But they're great it's clients that I kind of know, I feel would be more inclined to doing it. And that I've known for a little over a year or so, however long I've been working with them. And I just asked them, would you be okay doing this. And we talk a little bit about the work that we do for them and why they like it so much. And also just give them a chance to advertise some sort of event or just talk a little bit about themselves. And I feel like it's been fun. I, when I do these things, I don't expect them to go incredibly viral or any of that. It's just fun.
Yeah. I think that guy you did recently, and he's got like 5 businesses, and he's got like the beer house, like the dance place, all of those types of things. He seems like a little bit of a marketing genius, like doing all these different theme nights. And I'm thinking, God, I could take a little bit of theme nights and work it into something that I'm doing, but it seems like pretty clever.
So, if we entertain people by the little 3-minute segment of shooting the shirt, and if we inspire other people to in one way or another, then I guess it's doing its job, whatever that job is.
Yeah. You're quite humble about it, but like, what's the purpose of like the YouTube videos, like the ones where you're showing people like how to coat a screen or how to do the reclaim and stuff like that? Is that with something else in mind, where you're like developing that side of the business in education, or is it just purely fun, or how are you?
Both. I mean, whatever I end up doing, I just make sure that it's fun, to enjoy it, have fun with it, and also educational. I know it. For instance, we have a video that kind of gives you the full rundown of the ordering process, everything from like when we receive the email to burning the screens, setting it up, printing it, and packaging. So that I find it's been very helpful when it comes to new clients. Either send them that link, or for whatever reason they just searched screen printing and then they saw our video and they end up reaching out to us and we end up working with them. It's a little bit of both, educational, entertaining.
It probably makes your day a lot easier, because if someone just constantly asking you stupid questions, like I've had it today, like how much for shirts, and then I'm like, oh, for God's sake. But for me, they're like, how big can I print on the shirt? And you're like, well, how big do you want to print? Like, and then I'm like, give me a centimeters width, and they're like, oh, big, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, what about 29 centimeters? Is that big? And they're like a little bit bigger, and I'm like, I want to rip my eyes out, and you're like, I can't. Like my level of, I'm like, give me a number.
Patience.
But my patience has gone down to a no.
Yeah. Yes. Especially when they catch you on an off day, right? When you're just not having it. And they're like, so how much are shirts? And it's like, what, can you give me more information, please?
Yeah.
What graphic, anything? No. Yeah. So it's, I'm glad to see that.
Do you ever feel like just saying $30 a shirt and then like,
oh yeah,
what are you doing with that information now? You know, it's $30 a shirt.
Yeah. I have my, I don't want to do it pricing in the sense, which is a little bit above retail. But if it's just definitely something that is just still not, doable for, I'm sure you also get the 6 t-shirts, 8 color print, and they only want, those 6 and they need them in 2 days, but they're going to come back and they're going to order more, right? So I'm sorry, no. I can either point in the right direction or just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But like I've noticed like 2 or 3 of your customers are like these beer houses or breweries. Is that your ideal customer, do you reckon?
It sort of became a great niche for us. We started with one brewery in particular called Eureka Heights, which is actually, I entered the first episode of my Shooting the Shirt videos was with him. They're the marketing guy and my good friend Evan. And he has been great about spreading the word and sending new breweries our way. And it's also helped us use them as kind of a, credit, saying like, hey, we've been printing for Eureka for this long. How can we, facilitate things for you as well? And it's been great. We also joined the Texas Craft Brewers Guild, which is a great organization that kind of guides breweries throughout the process of just getting started, and actually, once they're established, how to navigate through legal, troubles that may, or not legal troubles, but like, permitting and stuff like that has to do with the city in order to get them operational. And that has been a great platform for us to reach out or be seen by other breweries in Texas. And we actually just came from they call it the Texas Brewery Roundup. And we just came from that this weekend. We met a lot of cool people, and we were printing on site there, which was a great fun. And breweries just, I don't know. We love them. They love us. And then when they pick up their orders, they drop a case or two beer. Yeah. I try to quit and it just won't let me.
I know. I found that as well, that they're an incredibly ideal customer, especially as like the craft beer scene explodes and they even become their own little like micro brands where you would never have like our very basic beer is like, I don't know, over there it'd be like Bud Light or something. We've got like Foster's. No one's walking around with a Foster's t-shirt on because it's too like mainstream. But with all these microbreweries, you're seeing them as like they've just got little logos and you can't even tell what the brewery is anymore. So it's like really cool. It looks like a streetwear brand. Like it's got to that level. Yeah.
Yes. That's we do quite a bit of that for breweries, make it look more not just like a billboard of their brewery printed on the shirt, but they try to make it fun and interesting for their clientele. Do you also print for breweries then?
I have done, yeah. Now I'm more printing for myself, but we're still collaborating with breweries. So we do things like in a few weeks on Friday. Oh God, all my days are mushed into one. Because I'm working weekends at the moment, so like all my weeks are just one big blur. But on Friday we've got a party and we're doing like a collaboration beer with a brewery. They're just putting our graphics and logo on the beer, and then it just looks cool, having that type of thing at the party. So done that a few times, and then you print the design on shirts, and then you kind of like move it forward and cross promote each other. Yeah, it seems like a really good thing to do. You could have GooseWorks beer, couldn't you? Because those breweries. Yeah.
I'm still, don't be surprised if you see it by the end of this year.
Yeah. They're so open to collaborating, these breweries, because I think it's on par with printing a very complicated like 8-color shirt is quite on par with making a beer. So it's just a collaboration process, isn't it? So
yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I could see that happening. But what I noticed with one of the breweries when you were interviewing him, he was like saying, yeah, we've got foil with them, we've got glow in the dark with them, we've got all these different things. Like, how have you introduced him to those special techniques, or was he like trying to push you to do advanced things?
No, it was whenever he comes in and picks orders up, I like to show them new things that we've worked on recently. And also they're great about sending me their artwork and like, hey, this is what the graphic is. How can you just, upscale it? Right. And that's when things like the color changing ink come into play, which they did. We used that for a beer release of theirs called Something Light, which is a very low calorie beer. And we incorporated that color changing ink. When the sunlight hits it, it says light. And then there's the word something, always visible and printed on normal ink. So the name of the beer is Something Light, but when the sunlight hits it,
nice.
Do the light part. And they loved it.
Yeah, because that's like beyond a gimmick, isn't it? Because you really put it into the purpose of the illustration. That's really clever.
Yeah, no, we try to be clever with it and not just, include them for the sake of including them. Just like the upscaling things in a way that makes more sense, and it boosts the whole graphic or whatever they're trying to achieve.
Yeah. That must be really cool, because they're asking you to elevate it and actually like treating you like a crafts person instead of just like push this job through, get it done by Thursday, that type of thing. So,
right.
That seems pretty cool. Can you talk to me about your equipment choices and things? Because I see you're kind of leaning towards like rock type of things. Like, have you experienced other manufacturers before that, or were you always like attracted to rock?
Yeah, it's funny. I bought the rock without ever having working on one before. And I saw it and I could tell right away that it was geared more towards the craft end of screen printing.
All right.
Versus the M&R, Anatol, and what other one was it? Can't remember.
Of course.
Yes. And I've worked on those before, and I remember just not liking them. And I don't know. I love the way it looks. I love how quiet it is, how just easy it is to set up a job and tear it down. And yeah, it just made sense.
What makes it more crafts, like geared towards craft printing? Because I've never had anyone say like that before. Like, are there like features on it that appeal to you, or like what is it about it?
It's just pretty, how can I say this? Like intuitive when you're and not complicated at all to set up the job, lining up the screen, even things as simple as loading the squeegee and the flood bar. It's just, I haven't worked with the other brands for a while now, so I can't remember exactly what it was that I couldn't stand about it. But there were just little things that they do that Rock has that just makes it way simpler, and just it makes you think of, okay, this makes perfect sense.
Do you reckon it's like using a MacBook over a PC or something? Like it's like very user experience led. Okay.
Yeah, because they both get the same job done, right? But you prefer one. You're more in sync with another one versus the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And then like what kind of ink choices and that type of thing are you using? Because you're in like Texas, right? Isn't it like crazy hot at the moment over in Texas? Like, are you having like a mega heat wave?
Yes, it's been a rough last few weeks. We even switched our schedule from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We did that for a little over a week. And now last week and this one, we're doing 73 because 6 was a little too early for us to close, because then clients didn't have as much time to pick up their orders. So now we're doing 73. And it definitely makes it challenging sometimes, because if you've seen in our videos, our press is right by the bay door, which is for the most part of the day open. So it does cause some, sticky situations on the screens, depending on the job we're printing. Yeah. But for the most part, we're printing plastisol ink, and we do some water-based printing as well, discharging stuff, sometimes a combination where we discharge the underbase, print plastisol on top. And because we only have the 4-color rock. So in some cases, it's still challenging to print a full color image. Sometimes the stuff that we do with that 4-color press, it amazes me.
Right. So you're doing an underbase with one of your colors, and then are you doing like sim process to get the more range of colors, or are you just, you are. Okay, cool. Yeah. Are you doing all those separations yourself, or are you using like software or anything?
When they're really complicated, I outsource them to a graphic course. And sometimes when it's a simple, like, how do I get an orange out of this design that has yellow and red already? Obviously, you just half tone it on top of each other, and there you go. Yeah. So in some cases, I do it myself, but when it gets too complicated, I just,
So it's interesting that you're using, like, you haven't just like gone to one camp of like Plasol or water-based. Like, you're a little bit like us, because we've got we've got 3 different walls of ink, like for all the different processes and stuff. Like, well, yeah, like we've got paper and graphic stuff over there.
Oh, you do posters too. That's right.
Yeah, we've got the Plasol there and the Waterbased there and solvents down there. We've got like everything. I think maybe I'm just a hoarder and I can't get rid of them, but like, yeah. Say if you were doing a shirt for yourself and you were doing like the best shirt that you can physically make, where would you go for it? Would you be like thinking about the softness of it, or would you go to Plasol for vibrancy, or like what would you ideally do?
I want to say it would depend on the graphic, maybe.
Okay. What about so you're not really going for feel, you're going for the look and the vibrancy?
In some cases. I see where you're getting at. But yeah, Waterbased it delivers, I think, a better product.
Okay.
If it's like something for an apparel brand, I guess that can give you a better result. But then again, some people don't like how it kind of not fades, but you know what I mean, how it kind of blends into the fabric versus this all super vibrant print. And preference, mine would probably be water-based.
Yeah, but like that, isn't that why you're doing discharge underbase with Plasol on top to kind of get like best of both worlds with like softness and like vibrancy? Is that where you're going with that?
For that, and also so we eliminate having to go twice around on the press, getting the white plastisol twice. So that's why we can do a hybrid in some cases.
Did you have to do a lot of trial and error to figure that out? Or is it like, do you ever manage to set aside a part of the day to figure out things like foils and underbases? Or is it just experience through all your jobs for the last 10 years?
You see these wrinkles?
I can't actually.
It's for foil printing. Yeah, it was a lot of trial and error. Just doing as much research as you can, and contacting the distributors, seeing what tips they have, and just also other friends in the industry, what they recommend, and we're a lot more comfortable with it now.
Okay, cool. So you're quite close with are you close with your nearest screen print studios, or are you finding that your friends in other print shops are further away, so they're not like so much competitors like down the road? How are you finding that?
No, not really. There is a print shop down on our same street, just a few minutes in that direction, beside Impress. And also, have you heard of Night Owls?
Yeah. They're huge.
Yeah, they're goals in terms of like how you want to execute a print, for sure. And they're also a few miles down the road, and yeah, they've been great about sharing some knowledge. Of course, I don't expect them to just straight up give me their little black book of secrets, right? Because that's just not, I also want to learn it on my own, and it's my their research and development throughout the years. I don't expect them to just cough it up like that, but they, in some cases, they have been good about like, hey, no, maybe try it like this.
That's cool. Yeah. And like, it's good to have shops around, because sometimes they're just giving away not giving away, but they sell equipment on the cheap and they just need it out of the way. And you're like, yes, I'll have that. That's an upgrade for where I'm at. And then for them, it's like, that's so cool. Yeah. I was just wondering, like, for your like advertising and stuff, have you been kind of guided towards doing your like in-person interviews and things to drum up more business, or do you already have like a natural stream of like local customers coming in and finding you?
For advertising, I find it a lot more beneficial to become a sponsor in certain local events.
All right. Okay.
And so we have like what we call a collaboration discount or a sponsor discount, where if it works out great. If, we print their shirts, we'll give them a discount if we print our logo on the back of the shirt or on the sleeve or whatever, versus going in for Google ads or Facebook ads or, that end up coming back with people saying like, hey, can you print 2 shirts of my cat? Because it's coming up or something, right? So that's happened with Google ads, so I don't use that anymore. And we'd like to become more involved with the community through things like that, like sponsoring the chili cook-off that the breweries putting together. Or we work with the city also. They have this thing called Make Music Day. And it's, the cultural affairs of the city. And we print their staff shirts and the giveaways and print our logo on the back, give them a discount, and other things like that just make it more, how do I say this? Just ties you closer to the community, which I believe is very important.
Yeah. This is like something that I'm like kind of brainstorming and thinking about a lot now, because I've gone into a slightly different sector. We're kind of like moving into retail, which isn't something that I've done before. And I can't rely on the things that used to work for me, like educational videos and things, because the people in the town walking around aren't looking at my videos. So I'm thinking about doing more outreach like that. But that seems really smart, because you're not really like giving money to them to sponsor them, or you might be, but you're saying you're sponsoring the group by putting your logo on and then giving them a discount. So then you're not actually having to outlay the cash, but it's still sponsorship. That seems really, really smart. Yeah. Yeah,
because then it gets your name out there in a different way. Like you said, there might be people that you want to work for that don't know about you through Instagram or anything like that. But when they see you, that you were a part of whatever music festival, which you being over there do not have a problem with whatsoever. So it's doing things like that, or setting up at, pop-up markets. Like that's actually how I started and how I linked up with the guys from Eureka Heights Brewery. They would put together a Smash Brothers tournament. And one of my designs... I don't know what that is.
What's a Smash Brothers tournament?
Smash Brothers, Nintendo 64?
I don't know about Smash Brothers, but I know about Nintendo 64. But my brothers had James Bond on it like for 24 hours a day until their fingers were like, they'd worn away the fingerprints.
Oh, nice. That was the way to do it. But I'm trying to find it. But anyway,
Mario Brothers.
Huh?
No, not
it's
Mario
like
Brothers.
Mario Brothers, but they're all fighting each other.
Ah, okay.
Anyway, but that, setting up at those markets is kind of how I met Evan, because he saw that one shirt that I'm telling you about, and he loved it. And then we just started talking a bit. And he's like, "Oh, do you print your own?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to print your stuff if you ever need it and all that." And another thing is to just, whenever you do events like that, don't just treat it like a transaction. Yeah. As a piece of advice that I would give you is like, you'd like to sell, the product, but if you get to learn more about people just making small talk, I find it that they will be more likely to remember you if they ever need any sort of work done. Yeah, just because you were cool to them, Yeah, make it a little bit more than just a transaction.
Yeah, I suppose if you're not like a naturally outgoing person, you might find it difficult to do that type of stuff and drum up that trade. So you might even have to like onboard someone who's quite outgoing to be like the face of your business, while you're just like a hermit in the back doing the printing and like send the big talker out to the streets to drum up those relationships, I suppose.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for me at first, but my wife was the one that I remember one of the first times that she came to me at one of the markets. I set up the table, put out my shirts and everything. And then I brought out the lawn chairs and she said, "What is that?" And I go, "Yeah, chairs." She's like, "What do you want them for?" It's like, "To sit." It's like, "No, you're not." You need to be talking to people and just making more connections. And then I thought like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's and since then I feel like that kind of flipped a little switch on me that reframed my thinking. to how to just be more, just how to connect with people more.
Yeah, literally get off your ass. You're not allowed to sit down. So like, is your wife involved in the business, or like, what does your team look like?
No, so it's me, and then I have 3 employees. I've got my print lead, print assist, and then I have one guy that I started training to do a hybrid role to help me with computer work, invoicing, and all that, because it's becoming a little much at the moment. Happy to report. But so yeah, I'm training him to do the hybrid role, since it's kind of what I used to do at another studio. So I know it can be done.
Okay. By that you mean you're getting him to do invoicing, but then say if one of your printers was off sick, would he be able to drop into that? Like cross-trained? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually happened today.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our print assist kid had a fever and he couldn't make it in. Had to take him to the doctor and all that. So instead of him invoicing and all that, he just went and jumped back there. But when the print lead and print assist are here, he's still over there catching and packaging orders.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like a question you might not even have an answer. It might just be like, it felt right to do. But like, when you're hiring somebody else for a role, do you have like a plan on when you know that you're ready to hire them? Like, do you save up? Like one tactic from like this accountant guy was like, save up 3 months' wages so that you know that you can afford to have them on? Or are you just overwhelmed with work and then you know you can hire? Or how do you know?
Great question. Well, I do believe that it's better to how do we go? Hire for attitude, train for skill, right? That's that right? Yes. And so the last 2 guys that I hired, the print assistant and the guy doing the hybrid role, they had no experience in screen printing at all. But they just wanted to be part of something creative, which is, and this is in their own words. They said, I don't have experience, but I love everything you're doing, the creative aspect of it. And it just looks like a fun place to work. Are you hiring? And so, brought them in, showed them those YouTube videos, had print screens. And they fit in pretty well.
Okay. And then like when you're training them, are you literally sitting in front of the YouTube videos, or are they shadowing you doing the work first, like loading and catching and folding? Because I know you've got a special folding. It's not a special folding technique, but you do that fold a shirt without the folder, don't you? Do they have to know how to do that, or are they allowed to fall back on the folding machine?
Yeah, just whatever makes it easier for them. I tell them like, look, this is how I do it. This works for me. If you have another way that works for you and it's quick and efficient and it looks good, it gets what needs to, be done, then yeah, by all means, go ahead. I'm not, there's some things that you do have to be like, no, this is how you should do it. But there are other things where you obviously can be a little more open.
I think the biggest fear with a lot of screen printers having like a print lead, for example, is that the quality control that you've got in your own head is quite difficult to like give that over to somebody else to have like the same standard as you. Like, is that just like pure trust, or are you seeing things and you're like, it's not quite bad enough to redo, but I don't want to call him on it and like knock his confidence? Or how are you dealing with that type of thing?
That's a good point. It is hard to just let go of it, because as the owner, as a boss, it just makes sense for you to step away from production and just let it take care of itself. And you do your best to set up kind of like quality control guidelines and saying what's working and what's not, and just leave it up to them. And I feel like they have gotten a really good sense of what is expected from the finished product, and just making them understand that when something does go wrong, not caring for something, even if it's just 1-2 prints, it's only going to come back to them. So well, to all of us really, but starting with me, because I'm going to be the first person to hear it. And then I will probably not be happy about it to see how something went out the door and the way it did. And then they're just going to have to reprint it. So let's just get it done right. And I never rush them. I just say, like, this is what we need to do today. Just take your time, make sure it's perfect. And for the most part, I like to say it goes that way. Yeah.
Okay, trusting. But are these the first batch of employees that you've had, or have you ever like had to hire someone, realize they're a little bit like not as you expected, or not like hitting the standards? No, you just lucked out in your first ones.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, I have had some employees that I had to let go, and I felt like it was the best thing for both of us. And they're doing well. It wasn't, I didn't fire them in like a, nasty way or anything like that. It was just like, this is not working out. I've told you that we keep having the same problem, and I'm just not having it. So it's, better for us to part ways.
Like, I'm actually in the process of like hiring a few people at the moment. Well, I've actually just hired them. But how would you lay out like disciplinary things? Because like, I don't want to ever be in a place where like it's like a 3-strike rule or anything like that. But you're saying like for example, you had to let someone go because they'd done the same thing repeatedly in a bad way. Are you like bringing that up in like weekly meetings, or you just keep catching it and they keep just not responding accurately? Or like, how are you tracking that disciplinary procedure?
Yeah, it just, as soon as you spot it, if it's, the same problem over and over again, you just have to either pull them aside, be like, we've talked about this, why is it still happening? You're better than that type thing, and it's worked out for the most part, but there's been a couple of times where it hasn't.
Yeah.
Decisions have to be made.
Yeah. Thing is, if I wasn't the boss, I would have been fired, because I do shit wrong all the time.
I am not kidding.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I'm just glad I'm unfireable at this point, unless there's like a coup. Get me out, which I can understand. I'll just go and potter around on my own. I don't know what I'd do, but like. Do you know like how you're building up this structure below you? Have you got like the ambition to like leave the studio at some point and just let it run on its own? Or like what's like the end goal, like size wise for you for the studio, for the shop, I mean?
Well, yeah, it would be ideal for it to run itself at some point while I just focus on growing business, whether that's through bring in more sales or just, I don't know, maybe expanding into a bigger space or introducing a brewery or different services. It makes sense for me to not be needed here.
Yeah.
And, I feel like and we're not too far from that.
Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. Because I'm looking at the trajectory of your shop and like how many staff you've got, and I haven't seen anyone have like a relatively small press but more staff, where you've like hired instead of gone like bigger with the equipment. Do you know what I mean? Because you're saying you've got like a small press, didn't you?
Yeah.
So like you're thinking manpower is more important than like the equipment size, but you're still like putting out a really decent amount of.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, there's no point on having the, nicest piece of equipment if you don't have the staff that's ready to handle it and work it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, I do agree with that. I feel like if we had a bigger press, we would be able to take on more challenging orders, which I'm all about. But at the time, because of the space, and I guess budget is not something that we can do right now. In the near future, I feel like that we will be able to. But yeah, definitely manpower. Just having people that have that willingness to not just work for themselves, but work as a team environment, which is something that I like to, make very clear from the point that new people are hired, is that we work here as a team, and have them understand how, the mistakes of one person can hurt the entire process, even starting with me. And when you have people that do buy into that culture, I feel you can achieve some really great things.
Yeah. Because like real estate over in Texas especially is incredibly expensive. Like I've heard from the other studios. Is that like the case? Or are you thinking like, right, if I want to go bigger, I've got to go out of town a little bit more? Is that something you're prepared to do?
I would like to keep it in town where I'm at right now. But if it's just not realistic, then I'll just have to find something else. But yeah, I'm not aggressively looking right now to make that change, but I do keep my eye out, driving around some nice areas, see what's around. Yeah. Take a couple pictures of the, for sale, for lease sign, whatever.
Yeah. cheeky little Google. I was just, so are you getting walk-in customers? Like, is it actually like really important for you to be in town? Because I've also seen that some studios have just gone, I don't want the walk-in customers anyway. And I know you're integrated into the community, but could you be out in the sticks and be just as successful at this point?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's just me being stubborn and just wanting to stick around, but my reasoning for that is that there's so much, there's like a boom going on in this area. There's a lot of new businesses coming around, and along with the breweries, the schools, that make it very convenient for us to link up with them. Okay. And I feel like if I were to move out, kind of out of the city, it would make some clients hesitant to come pick up the order. But then again, I could also just offer, shipping, right? So that would be an easy fix. But I don't know. I like to be able to invite people in and not have it be a whole insane drive, which in Houston, I don't know if you knew this, is an hour away from Houston.
Wow. Yeah.
So it can get wild. So staying central definitely helps.
Okay, I understand. And then I know people who are listening won't be able to see this, but maybe they could just go and look it up. But can you tell me about the flag that you've made? Because it's about your town and stuff. You were briefly telling me about it, weren't you?
Yeah. So this is the Texican flag, and basically it's and a little bit of my sweat stains probably because it is Texas. It's I just took the the folk art graphic that is the Mexican sarape, and I married it with the Texas flag, which is why I call it the Texican flag. And just to celebrate the culture in Texas, Mexican culture in Texas.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Because also there is a niche on YouTube that I think you could actually really do well on. Is that there aren't many, because you're bilingual, aren't you? So you're doing like YouTube videos, but you're doing them in English. But that's quite a saturated market. So what some YouTube channels are doing now is they're getting all of their English speaking videos translated so that all like the Spanish speaking countries and can all understand them. But there's not enough of them yet, but they're really, really popular. So is that something you're focusing on? Yeah.
I have thought about it. Yes, it is something that I want to do a little more. I do have one or two of my tutorial or how-to YouTube videos, both in English and Spanish. But I definitely do want to do some more. But I'm sure any YouTube video, even if it's 2 minutes long, it's going to take you quite some time to edit.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have fun with it, but it is very time consuming.
Yeah. Because like MrBeast is like the biggest YouTuber in the world. And he actually is the person who made me think of that, because he gets a whole production crew to every single video he makes. He has MrBeast in Espanol. So he's got like the Spanish speaking version. And that one actually does better than his English speaking one, just because of the amount of people who speak Spanish. So it's like, it makes like monetary sense as well. So it's, I think there's a huge gap in the market for like eloquent Spanish speaking YouTube videos. Because like, there's like hundreds of the English ones. And I would kill to have that as a skill, like doing it in different languages and stuff. So
Thank you for bringing that up. It'll only make me want to do it more and more now.
Yeah. So like, why are you called Goose? Or is that like from your childhood or something? Or like...
Well, my name being Gustavo, when I moved here to the States from Mexico, kids in school couldn't pronounce it. So they would call me either Gus or Goose. And I didn't like Gus because it sounds like gas or something. And it just sounded funny. So I was like, what is your name? Goose? I'm like, sure, why not? And it's like, Gustavo, but yes, call me Goose. Fine. And then that's where that came from. When I was, how old was I? 13, I think, when I moved here. And when it came time to name the business, I was just bouncing ideas around like Goose prints or Goose threads or something. And then it landed on GooseWorks. Yeah.
Because Goose is actually quite a cool nickname, isn't it? Because it's like on Top Gun. Isn't one of them called Goose? Yeah.
Yes.
So nice. It's cool enough. It's not just like people can't pronounce my name. You can like be like the Top Gun guy. A little second ago, you were talking about perhaps introducing embroidery. Like, is there a reason why you haven't done that yet, or are you hesitant about it, or what's that about?
Well, I know nothing about it. How to, apart from the basics that are required just to get that, just to put in an order in whenever I outsource it. But just the equipment, the space, and then just making the investment to learn it, and then bringing in probably another team member to handle that. First I would like to get the screen printing aspect of it just totally solid. And then, like you said, me being able to step away from it without having to worry too much about it. I would like to get into embroidery because, it only makes sense. Yeah. And also, we turn T-shirts around super fast. I cannot keep my guys busy enough. And it doesn't feel great when you tell someone that their embroidery order is going to be ready 15 days later after their T-shirt. So I don't like doing that. So it's something that I would love to change.
Yeah. Do you think that's something that your shop prides itself on? Like the speed? Like say if you've got like speed, quality, and what's the other one? Speed, quality, and price.
Right.
Like which are your two that you're like aiming to serve with the biggest priority?
Question, because you can't always have three, right? Probably speed and quality.
Yeah. That's a good place to be.
Work with your budget. If it works for me, cool.
Yeah. You're like, go down there if you want it cheaper. Are you a bit like that? Or are you like bartering with people and saying, oh, let me have a look at that price for you? Or
in some cases, you can kind of tell when it's not going to work with some people and they're just looking for, the cheapest deal. And there's been it's funny you bring it up because about 3 weeks ago, we had 2 clients come back that went to someone that could do it cheaper. And, whenever they told me the price that they were getting somewhere else, I was like, that's a great price. I cannot match it. It makes no sense for me to work with that price, but good luck. I hope it works out. If not, you know where to find us. I wasn't upset or rude or anything. It's just like, if it makes sense for you, it makes sense for your business. Yeah. But they came back, and their price was not the same. And it's what it is,
Yeah, because I did see that you've done deals. You do 100 shirts for $500, don't you? But you're just explaining, this is black ink on a white shirt, one-sided. This is as simple as it gets. This is what you're getting for $500. So what are you doing those kind of deals just to show that you are a reasonable price, or do you want people to actually take that exact deal and come to you with it, or what's the thinking behind that?
Just to reach out to new clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Ask people to share it with people that other businesses that think might benefit from it. Offer it to our current clients as a thank you. Mm-hmm. And and it's worked out. People that went for it ended up staying with us. So it's a good tool, good incentive.
Are you getting them in the door with that $500 offer and then saying, now that's on a lower price shirt. Now, can I upsell you to this shirt? Are you suggesting better options for garments and that type of thing? Once you've got them
interested. Yeah. If they're interested, for sure. I do tell them I'm always upfront. This is the shirt that we're going to print on. Is that okay? And then if they say, well, what else do you have? Okay, we can work you a deal with this or that, and go from there. But definitely not misleading them.
No, not misleading. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I know that's not what you were implying. Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of the entry level shirts, they're not the shirts that you want to be known for printing on, but they sound better in the deals. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
I've also seen this thing, and I think it does split the screen print community a bit with pricing. And some people don't put anything on the garments, don't put a percentage on the garments. And then some people go, why wouldn't you? Of course you do. And then you pay for the printing. How are you with that? Are you charging quite a lot for the printing and not much for the garments, or how do you figure that out?
Yeah. So I do mark up the garment just a little bit, because it does, the way I heard it at a seminar, is that it costs something to get it in the door. So you do mark it up, whether it is to round up to the nearest dollar or whatever. I do that. There's other items like your higher end fashion products, like, Los Angeles apparel that, are going to be sold for $35, $40. Mm-hmm. And, there is a bit of a markup there. Just because it's, higher end product. We also take more care with it whenever we print on it. But yeah, in general, all your Gildan, next level, Bell Canvas stuff, we just round it up to the nearest nearest dollar, 50 cents, whatever. Okay.
Does that seem a little bit varied? Aren't you going to get hardly, if the price goes up by 20 cents, then you're not getting any profit on your garment margins? I don't know. I put a percentage on it, so it doesn't matter if the price fluctuates during the year, but it looks like your margins will fluctuate as the price does. No?
Yeah, I mean, I have the printing price, right? And I have it kind of separated into different, by volume, different unit rates. And then to it, I add the price of the garment, whatever it is at the time. So market price, if you will. Because especially, with the pandemic, with shortages and everything, stuff was just kept going up and not even being there. So I found that doing that just made it a bit, allowed us to be a bit more transparent with our clients.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Because when you're getting a better deal, but it never comes down. The price just kept going up, right? The cotton price was going astronomical. And then the cotton price went down, and then our price for the garments didn't come down in line with that. I know you have to have a knock-on effect in the industry, but it feels like we're getting a bit screwed at the moment with all that. It just goes up and up and up and up and never comes down. So
Is that how you price your stuff?
We've got like a flat rate percentage on it. And then whatever the order is, we'll put on a set figure for, say, if we messed up a shirt, or I don't know, we needed to get another shirt in, we'd put like a maybe 20, 30 quid just so that we can replace that shirt and pay for delivery of like 1 or 2 garments if needed as well. Okay. And then we've got the flat rate printing price on top. We do rush orders. Yeah, we did rush orders. I don't do much client work at the moment because I'm focusing on our own stuff. But yeah, we've got rush order fees. Just we charge quite heavy because we're so small. No one's coming to us for the best price. They would go to the big auto shops. They're coming to us for like quality. Luxury. Yeah, it's always like the luxury small brands, like the streetwear brands and the breweries. And
that's good because those people are the pickiest, the most particular one with their orders. So if they're coming back and bringing more people your way, that means you're doing a really great job.
Yeah, I think so because your order's never just going to be a number with a shop that's as small as this, like a manual shop that does. We do unusual things, like you guys do unusual things, and you're a relatively smaller shop. You're not like doing the Super Bowl, I guess. So you're not going to be able to compete with like Night Owls. So they're just on. They probably wouldn't do foils though. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they're so big they can do unusual shit now as well. I don't know. Yeah. Can I ask you this? And I don't like. It's quite a controversial topic, but it's something that is cropping up in the industry quite a lot at the moment. Is the way that the manufacturers of the actual garments are like being custodians of the whole thing. So like how they're treating the garment workers, how they're like sourcing the cotton and all this type of thing. Are you aware of like what Next Level and Gildan are up to at the moment? Are you guiding, like if someone comes in and says, oh, what's the best t-shirt? Are you going like Gildan, Next Level, or are you guiding them to a different type of brand that's more ethically aware? Or is that just not a concern for the customers?
I did see a few months back something about a statement that I think it was Bella Canvas that they released that everything is sourced responsibly. And I didn't hear anything after that. But are Gildan and Next Level doing shady stuff, or?
I think the information's on the internet. And it's not something that I work with anymore, but I think it's definitely something that people need to Google and be aware of. So it's just shady, and but yeah, you could just look up like the way that they have like environmental reports. So, for example, like if someone does an environmental report at the end of the year and they're a manufacturer and it's 50 pages deep and they've got loads of examples, great. Mm-hmm. If their environmental report is 2 pages saying we're 10% better than last year, that's red flags because 10% better environmentally than last year is still shit. It could be like, you did one tiny thing and it's still not helping anyone. I don't know. But like, what blanks do you like to point people towards?
Well, I don't want to answer that now.
No, but like,
well, I will say the Next Level is one of the big ones.
Is it like a premium? Like if someone says, I want a really like durable shirt, like is that what the breweries are going for and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we've had no issues with it in terms of it shrinking and just how long it lasts. So then that's why I recommend it.
Yeah.
And Gildan, not so much. It just depends. You like to ask the client what problem it is that they're trying to solve, whether it's just to get the message for, a day or, the run of whatever. Then something that they're not going to sell, just give away, then yeah, go with a lower price point item like Gildan. And then if they want to sell it, do some merchandise, then either Next Level or Bella Canvas. And then if they want to go beyond that, then there's, Los Angeles Apparel, which has been trending a lot lately. Even here, when it's like a 9-ounce heavy shirt, I don't know why, but it's trending a lot. So yeah, just it's depending on what they're looking for.
Is LA Apparel like a real fashion centric brand? Like, is it for streetwear and that type of thing? Is that why people are going for it? Okay, I understand. Yeah. And are they like pushing like organic cotton or anything like that, or is it like the cut that people are going for?
Yeah,
like oversized, drop shoulder.
Yeah, drop shoulder, overfit.
Yeah,
with the collar that chokes you.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, in like 100-degree heat, which you just don't get. But
why?
So, like, how have you found that the different garments react to all the different inks that you're using? Because you've got so many. Like, some must not discharge as well as others. Like,
absolutely.
Say if I came in and I'm like, okay, I'm a fashion brand. I want like a real retail quality finish, and I want it to be vibrant. Like, how are you guiding them to the different inks versus like the type of garments that they're coming in with wanting to have?
Just through the trial and error that we've done. I know that some colors don't discharge as well as others. Some fabrics don't do the same. And, we have the discharge ratings from each company.
All right. Okay.
Sometimes they're pretty accurate. Sometimes it can't. They can not be. And also just trying to figure out again if they want like a vintage look shirt, or just trying to find what the overall goal is. Yeah. What sort of brand they are, what their clients are going to like. And that's, just getting to know a little bit of what it is that they're trying to solve. That's how you guide them through it.
Is it that you've got like a real rail of all the different things, and you literally just like, and they can come and feel the shirts and try them on in the shop? Or okay, understand.
We have a few samples here in our lobby of the usual suspects that they might be interested in.
And then I also saw that you do like promotional stuff, promotional products.
Yeah.
When I've looked into doing promo products in the past, the range is just ludicrous, right? There's like hundreds and hundreds of different things that you can possibly do. Like, what are you finding is the easiest and the most profitable thing to suggest to people, like to add? Like, so say if they're coming to you for shirts and you're like, have you thought of this? And this is a really easy thing for my studio to do, and we're good at doing it.
Yeah. Let's see. Tote bags are pretty simple.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of koozies also, which we like to add our logo to the bottom of the koozie also as a promo. So that helps. Yeah. Stickers, keychains, buttons, everything that, again, because we work with a lot of breweries, I believe there's a law that they can't, whatever it is, that they have to pay no more than 99 cents for it.
What?
If they're going to give it away.
What?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Per item. And so they're looking for, lower cost, easy giveaway things. And that's where pens come in, and the koozies, and what else? Just looking around, see what else they've done.
That law is crazy.
Yeah.
Is that like a Texan thing?
The TABC, the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, something like that. That's what I heard from one of the breweries. I could have been getting it wrong.
So it's in the brewery niche. That's okay. All right.
Yes.
I thought it was like a statewide thing that if you can't give away something that's under $1, I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah. All right. Okay, I understand. And then for those pins and things, you must be sending those away to be made. You can't be making them in-house, can you?
No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Work with Sticker Mule quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got Sticker Mule here too.
Yeah. There's a few others. Good catalog of promotional people.
Okay. And then I just wanted to ask you one final question, which was like, did you have an unpopular opinion in the industry that you keep hearing other people say and you just like can't stand?
Probably DTG.
As a whole.
The whole thing. I can't. Makes, from a business standpoint, I don't think, for me, it doesn't make sense. I don't know if there's shops that all they specialize in is just walk-ins and they have, 30 or 50 of these machines and they print little, bachelor party shirts. It's like 2 or 3 with each design or whatever. But I cannot, I can't comprehend it. It's
as a business model or as a product?
Both. The product isn't good either. And I keep hearing that, it's getting better and it's going to take the place of screen printing and that, the quality and the customer service and the maintenance is going to get easier. And it's just, why? If it's not broken, don't fix it. At the time that you print one t-shirt with DTG, you already printed 50, 60 on the automatic press. You know what I mean?
I do see where you're going, but then in the UK, we just had something happen where we got M&R just put the first Polaris in. The Polaris, have you seen the Polaris thing? It's like a hybrid screen print DTG £1 million thing, and you're like,
the digital squeegee.
Yeah,
right.
I think is it the same as the digital squeegee? I think Polaris digital squeegee. It's very similar. Like in your head, like that's probably what it's going towards. So.
Yeah.
Surely that is gonna, like, say if someone put that next to you in the on the next street and he's got a Polaris.
Right.
And then you're limited towards 4 colors or something. Surely he's gonna eat the business up. But he's a hybrid, not a pure screen printer. But you're not scared of that, not worried about that.
No. I'm not, because I don't know. They also, I don't know. I feel like my clientele would keep working with me because I take a more personal approach into every order.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like they appreciate that. And I don't know, how colorful can you get? When I buy the next bigger press, I feel like we'll be able to achieve so much more. And I don't think I would. And they'll see. I'm
on the same. I'm on the same thing as you. I think
right.
I do think that, and I don't think the
you're going to lose your business.
Help. No, but I'm also thinking, am I being blind to it? Because you can generate art now and get the Polaris to print it in 5 minutes. So am I just being naive? Are we riding horses and they've got a Ferrari and we're horses will always be needed? And then we're actually that you just get turned into glue. So I don't know.
I see what you're saying, but also a lot of the people that I print for, they're reselling their shirts. Right. So I feel like they can tell the quality and also sense how, once you wash it, they can tell the difference and the longevity of screen printing versus digital. So that's, I wouldn't be too worried.
Yeah. I suppose if you become known for your foils and your unusual printing techniques as well, it's going to take those machines a little bit longer to do that. But then I'm saying that, but then they can do 3D prints. So I don't know. I want screen print to last and be a craft that everyone appreciates, like vinyl records. But my vision on it is that vinyl was the king.
Right.
Then we're going to get kicked and hardly any of us are going to survive. And then there's going to be a resurgence again. And then vinyl's cool again. So I'm just like waiting for this kicking where digital like eats us up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I've also done DTF.
Have you? Like, what are your feelings on that?
It's good. It's gotten me out of trouble with, a short run of shirts with very colorful design. And we were able to do it. But even then, it just takes so long. Mm-hmm. You have to press it and then cold peel, or I don't know, it doesn't peel. Well, yeah, it does peel. And then you have to press it again. So that it's just, if I had 20 heat presses, it would make sense. Mm-hmm. And then to make the investment to buy a DTF machine, it's just ridiculous. When you're going to get that return, I have no idea. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense. If I were to take out, a loan and then push for nothing but DTF, then maybe. But the way that I'm set up, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So it's just in very particular cases that I will do it. And even then, like, I'm not super happy with the finished product, but it's what the client either agreed on, or I explain it to them. Like, look, this is very colorful. You only want 20 of them. This is how we're going to do it. Is that okay? Like, yes. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So you're really having to put that disclaimer out. You're like, this is not my normal thing. This is like making a chef do like a ham sandwich. And you're like, okay, I understand. Yeah. Okay. I like that your whole answer to the question was just DTG. I actually had a DTG guy on last week, and I'm like softening to the idea that not all DTG is the same. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that not all DTF is the same, because you do get like DTF transfers that are just like printed on those machines, and then you get hybrid stuff. Right. Which is normally like the ultra colors and the super colors. Like, they are better than the DTF than you're going to get from the guy next door who got duped into buying a DTF printer at the trade show, and now he's like trying to flog it by the meter as quickly as he can. And it's broken
down on him 5 times already.
Yeah, and then again, like your shop compared to somebody else's, like you can't just say your screen print's the same, because you might have like better standards, or you just might care more, you might just be able to print better. So yeah, I'm leaning towards that there's good DTG and bad DTG, but I'm not quite convinced yet.
And no disrespect to anybody that does DTG, DTF. If you're able to, make it work and it's your business model and it's working, then yeah, perfect. But it's just not something that we're interested in.
Okay.
What is your unpopular screen printing opinion?
I've got too many.
Yeah.
My biggest one is Gildan. They pissed me off the other day, actually. They're trying to, like, the amount of stuff that I say about them, and then they're like going onto my social media and saying, "Oh, we want you to be like an ambassador for us." And I'm like, "Are you kidding?" I'm like the anti. You're like the gun rally, and I'm like the anti-gun person at your protest or something. Like, you couldn't find a worse ambassador for your brand.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, you haven't looked at any of my content then, and then you're trying to get me to be on your side. I don't know if they're just trying to convert me over, but it's not working. They're like, "Oh, I'll give you $500 and a box of T-shirts." I'm like, shove your box of T-shirts. There's no way any of your money's coming in here. Anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. Everyone knows that already.
You mean you don't need crop tops after you wash them once?
No, I'm all right. I don't want to be associated with them at all. But now I'm like accidentally being associated with them because I hate them so much. So it's like, it's gone the other way. So
as long as you stop talking about them.
Yeah, I love them. I love Gildan. I love everything they do. I am their ambassador. Yeah, if you see me switch and then like have some fancy clothes on that week, you know that I took the money. But if you see my rough T-shirt as usual, you know that I stuck to my morals.
Yeah, I'm going to call you a bit of what happened.
Yeah. So like, if you're a new printer, you can go like watch your YouTube videos to like kind of get that kind of like insight. And then if you're just in the Texas area, you're like, and you want to bring a case of beer, then you're the guy to come and see to print the shirts, I guess.
Yeah, we will work with anyone, as long as it's not, either insanely offensive or anything like that. But yeah, we'll work with pretty much anyone. And if they have some beer for us, then welcome.
Yeah, your shirts might go out faster and neatly folded. Cool. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Okay.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.